My name is Holly Anderson, and I'm 29 years old. I'm finally getting married to my boyfriend, Ted, whom I've been dating for a few years. The wedding includes just our parents and siblings, while everyone else is joining remotely. Hey, how does the wedding dress look? I'm about to walk into the venue.
Seeing you all dressed up, Holly, I have no regrets. You look beautiful.
Before entering, I connected with my grandparents online, and they, teary-eyed and smiling, couldn't contain their joy, which almost made me cry too. Finally, I'm getting married. From now on, Ted and I will be a family. With a full heart, I headed to the venue. The ceremony proceeded smoothly without any hiccups. However, when I stepped out to change and then returned, I found my younger sister, Angie, sitting boldly in my seat.
Wow, weddings are nice, huh? So this is the view a bride sees?
I was a little surprised, but it wasn't a big deal until my husband told her to stay in my seat, even though I'd come back.
Hey, we're already halfway through. You might as well keep sitting there.
The two of them continued their lively conversation, not noticing me at all. Well, that's my seat, Angie. Can you go back to yours? Though my sister is married, her own wedding was canceled, so I think she still holds a bit of longing for this moment. Since it's only close family here, I don't mind if she sat in my place while I was out of the room. Just as I was thinking that, I spoke up, and my husband, smiling, said something absolutely outrageous.
Come on, ugly bride. Let Angie have her fun. Why don't you go serve the food?
Excuse me? While I stood there, taken aback by his words, Angie joined in, telling me to serve while still in my dress.
You're up anyway, so what's the harm? Work it in that dress.
The atmosphere in the room shifted immediately due to their over-the-top antics. What on earth is he thinking? Does he really think it's okay to joke like this now? Does he like Angie more than he likes me? Feeling shocked, I put on a smile and decided to play along with their ridiculous request. Sure, you want me to serve the food, right? They both seemed pleased with themselves, but, of course, everyone else wasn't about to stay quiet.
Angie, what are you saying? This is Holly's wedding. Just because you wanted your own wedding doesn't mean you can joke around like this.
The main person here is Holly. Ted, you know she's the bride. So what are you saying?
My parents first scolded them, telling Angie to return to her seat as they approached the head table. It seemed they had been observing, initially thinking it was just a quick prank, but they couldn't tolerate her unexpected behavior any longer.
Oh, no need to be so mad. Holly and I are close, so it's no big deal, right?
We're family, so this is normal, really. Just a little playful teasing.
However, both of them treated it as just a casual joke, laughing it off.
Ted, you married Holly, right? Do you know who you should be prioritizing?
Yeah, Holly's my wife, but Angie is now my sister-in-law, so I just wanted to be nice. I know she was down about her wedding being canceled, so I wanted her to have some fun today.
My husband uses the excuse that she is my sister.
If he's okay with it, what's the harm? It's just family here, after all.
Angie said this, still oblivious to the issue, as she leaned toward my husband. When I introduced him to my family, Angie, with her naturally outgoing personality, eagerly talked to him and became close to him.
Does this mean I have a big brother now? I've always wanted one, so I'm thrilled. Please be close with me, too.
I'm an only child, so I'm happy to have a sister now.
My husband also seemed to enjoy her friendliness. Throughout our relationship, We occasionally went out together as a trio, with Angie tagging along.
I've always wanted to be close to Holly's husband.
Of course, I've always wanted a sister, so I'm glad.
They're close, almost like real siblings. This means we'll probably all stay close even after marriage. Since introducing him, Angie had always been a little too close with my husband. Angie is naturally friendly, and I get that she wants to be close with him because he's my husband. She's being a little clingy, but for family, that's normal. I was happy to see my husband fitting in so well with my family. I always thought they were close, but isn't this a little over the top? It's my wedding with Ted, and yet, he's treating Angie like the bride. But then, I finally snapped awake. If I think about it, they're way too close. This isn't the kind of relationship you should have with an adult sister-in-law. And to mock me together on this special day? Could it be that they bonded over bad-mouthing me? Thinking back on their actions, I couldn't just dismiss it as my imagination. My husband and Angie have always seemed to enjoy a little mischief together. What's up with you two?
Oh, didn't you think it was funny?
Holly didn't like it. What a shame.
They teased and joked at my expense before. There were things I didn't always get, but they were harmless, silly jokes that I could laugh off. It sometimes made me feel bad, but they looked like they were having fun, so I let it go. But to treat this as a joke, Ted knows how much I've been looking forward to this day. I started wondering if I was overreacting, but seeing my parents upset made me realize this wasn't something I had to tolerate.
What's the idea behind telling today's bride, in her wedding dress, to bring food? Angie, how would you feel if someone said that to you at your wedding? It'd feel awful, wouldn't it?
Calm down now. No need to get so worked up.
Angie, get out of that seat already.
Oh, come on. It's not that big of a deal. Holly doesn't care, right? We're close, and that's what family is. Besides, I want to enjoy the view from up here for a little longer.
The two of them were still grinning carelessly, even as my parents continued to scold them. Their obliviousness only made the atmosphere worse, yet they remained clueless about the situation. Then another blow came their way.
Don't you know who you're marrying and calling your beautiful bride ugly? Are you kidding? This isn't the time for fooling around.
We heard you're close to her sister, but what's with how you're treating Holly? She's the bride. You don't prioritize someone else. Do you even know who you're marrying?
Come on, Dad. No need to get so mad. We're family, so it's just a little harmless joke.
When his parents also expressed their disapproval, Ted looked confused, like he couldn't believe they were upset too. It seemed he hadn't expected them to react like that.
Just because she's your sister-in-law doesn't mean you can act like that with her. She's married, right? She's not a small child. This level of closeness is just inappropriate. I'm embarrassed that you're my son.
Oh, come on. It's not that big of a deal. Being close like this is pretty normal.
Even with his parents' disapproval, he still didn't seem to grasp that he'd done anything wrong.
It's ridiculous to make a fuss over just sitting here. My wedding got canceled, so I just wanted a little taste of what it's like to be the bride.
Angie, realizing she was outnumbered, reluctantly stayed by the head table, still acting as though she deserved to be there. I could have let it go if she'd only told me ahead of time. Then, I might have said she could sit there while I was out of the room. But it's clear she planned to stay even after I returned. As I reflected on Angie's behavior, I concluded that her actions were out of line. She hasn't even shown a hint of remorse, even after all these warnings.
If you want a bride-like experience, Do it after the wedding. Today's bride is Holly, and you're interfering with her big moment. And on top of that, you both said some pretty terrible things to her. Do you remember that?
Oh, I was just trying to liven things up. There was no malice.
You both came across as incredibly rude. How could you think that would liven things up?
Even after being scolded, the two continued to laugh it off as just a joke.
Sorry if it sounded that way, but we didn't mean any harm.
You're being dramatic. Now that Holly's back, let's not waste time on this and just get on with it.
Watching my parents scold them, I started to feel calm again. Angie has always looked down on me. Growing up, we were normal, close sisters. But as we got older, her comments toward me became more condescending.
Oh, you don't know that, Holly? What's with that outfit? So lame.
She's always been more social and up to date with trends, so I'd assumed she was just teasing. Since Angie is so outgoing and social, unlike me, I used to think it was just my imagination feeling like she was mocking me. Since we became adults, she's often asked me for favors, as if she thinks it's fine to boss me around anytime. When Angie got married before me, she flaunted her happiness as if she was trying to outshine me.
Look at me. I got married first. He loves me so much and can't wait for us to live together. Are you managing all right with Ted?
I thought she was just giddy at the time, but maybe she was mocking me. Reflecting on her actions, what once seemed playful now felt undeniably demeaning. I thought things were going well with Ted, but did he just call me ugly? He thinks that's just a joke? At first, I thought I'd misheard, but seeing my parents' anger, it was clear he actually said it. He used to be so considerate, always noticing and complimenting me when I tried to dress up. Since we moved in together, we've been supporting each other, and he's always noticed when I made small changes.
Hey, something's different. Did you try a new makeup look?
Yeah, I followed a video tutorial. Does it look good?
You look adorable. Honestly, you look even prettier than when we first started dating.
Since meeting Ted, I've grown to love myself more. Maybe I should try dressing up more often. His compliments helped me develop a sense of style that I'd always struggled with. And even my friends started noticing, boosting my confidence. But actually, he was thinking I was ugly. Otherwise, that word wouldn't slip out so easily. He must think that way about me. I began to question whether I should be going through with this marriage after seeing this side of him at our wedding. He keeps trying to pass it off as a family joke, but does he even remember what's happening? So I decided to remind him. Ted, you keep saying it's just family, but don't you realize this is being streamed? Our friends and your coworkers are watching. Are you still going to make excuses?
What? Oh no, we're live.
He finally remembered and started panicking. Originally, we planned to invite people, but due to restrictions, we decided to share the celebration virtually.
My boss was really looking forward to the wedding, so I thought it'd be nice to let him join remotely.
Yeah, and this way, family far away and our elderly grandparents can attend too. It's perfect. We had cameras set up, though we were only displaying the grandparents' reactions on the screen in the venue, which made Ted completely forget about the wider audience.
I just got a message from family watching. They said you two were holding hands under the table. What was that about?
What? That's a mistake, right?
Want to review it? We set this up so we could look back on it. They were pretty disturbed by seeing you cozying up with someone else at your wedding. Care to explain? We set it to record so we could look back on the ceremony, but it's as if he forgot. I knew they were close, but hand-holding, that's too much. Could they really have been having an affair, to the point that it made people watching feel uncomfortable? Ted's always been overly indulgent with Angie, and when I think about it, is that really how you treat your sister-in-law? With all these doubts swirling in my head, I got a call from Angie's husband, Arthur, and connected with him on the screen.
What? They were holding hands in secret. What's going on?
No, you've got it all wrong.
Today's supposed to be your sister's wedding, and yet you're telling her to play waitress in her dress? Ted, is this how you treat my wife? It looked like you two were hiding away, acting suspicious.
It wasn't like that. Please don't misunderstand.
Angie, realizing her husband was watching, started desperately trying to explain. Arthur is a successful, self-made business owner and adores her completely.
He's successful, and he's so nice. I have to be with him.
Angie pursued him fervently, and they ended up married.
He's absolutely crazy about me. He gives me the most luxurious, thoughtful gifts, and he takes me to the finest restaurants. Don't you think I've met an amazing guy?
She had boasted to me about him before they got married. I wondered if she was exaggerating her feelings, but it seemed real when I first met Arthur. They were clearly devoted to each other, and I was relieved. Hearing him sound so disgusted, though. What were those two doing together? I hadn't seen it myself, but everyone else's reactions stirred a strong sense of distress toward Ted.
I know you were looking forward to our wedding, and it must have been disappointing that it had to be called off suddenly. But just because you are longing for a wedding doesn't mean you can do such things at her wedding. That went way too far.
I've always dreamed of a wedding, and I got a bit carried away. I promise I'll be careful from now on.
I used to like that side of you, but now I'm worried about our future. I can't trust someone who wants to dismiss this as a joke.
I'll never do it again.
Her husband's scolding finally made Angie cry. If this hadn't happened, I would have probably felt sorry for her tears. But honestly, I'm done caring about her. She's always had her way, and now that I think about it, she said plenty of hurtful things to me. Ted and Angie are really two of a kind. And he called me ugly. If we stay married, I wonder if his kindness would turn cold as soon as we settle into a life together. Listening to the exchange between Angie and her husband, I came to a decision. I looked at Ted and told him firmly, Ted, I don't want to be married to someone who would treat me like this at our wedding and secretly cozy up to someone else. I want a divorce.
What? You can't be serious. We're already married. I was just messing around. I didn't mean it. Why would you doubt me just because someone else said something?
Hearing his excuses, any trust I had left in him was completely shattered. It's like he's trying to make it sound like I'm the one at fault. You say you were just carried away, but you must think I'm ugly all the time if that's the word that slipped out. I can't stay with someone like that.
I don't think that at all. Don't just decide to divorce me over this.
Ted played the victim, trying to shift blame.
You're the one in the wrong, saying such things to Holly on her wedding day of all days. And you even prioritized her sister. No wonder she's had enough of you.
We're supposed to protect each other as family, but seeing how you act, it's only natural she feels uncertain. How can you ask her to stay married to you?
And with that, the wedding abruptly ended, with everyone's anger directed at Ted and Angie. Friends and relatives reached out to express their concern. I'm glad Grandpa and Grandma were napping during the worst of it. They were just excited at the start, and hearing it all fell apart was already a shock to them. Watching it happen would have been even worse. Ted's trying to resist the divorce, but with the wedding recorded and everyone on my side, I should be able to get this done. I couldn't prove an affair yet, but their closeness was concerning, and for now, my focus was just on the divorce. But later, I heard from Angie's husband.
Actually, I've been feeling suspicious about Angie's behavior lately and had someone look into it. The results were,
No way, she really did this? He showed me the report on Angie's affair, detailing the undeniable fact that she and my husband had been cheating together.
considering my family's wealth and my success with the company, I've always known I'd be a target. Angie started spending more time away from home, and when I asked where she'd been or with whom, she dodged the questions. I thought she might be in some kind of trouble, so I had her investigated.
Worried about Angie, he looked at me with an indescribable expression as he revealed the shocking truth of her affair.
I knew they were close, but I never imagined they'd actually be having an affair.
I was shocked, but the events of the wedding suddenly made more sense. So that's why they were so close. And here I was thinking they were like siblings. They must have been mocking me for not realizing. In hindsight, I recognized all the signs of their affair. There were times Ted canceled plans last minute, claiming he had to work on a weekend. He was probably with Angie. I figured it was work, and these things happen, but it was strange how those weekend shifts suddenly increased, even though he hadn't changed jobs. I also noticed him on his phone more often. He'd say it was work, but he seemed unusually cheerful. I thought he was just close with his coworkers. I never even suspected an affair. Realizing how blind I'd been made me feel terrible. If they started cheating when he began his weekend shifts, then this has been going on for over a year. If he was going to cheat, he could have just broken up with me. Why even suggest marriage? But I set aside the regret to focus. No one would expect someone committed to marriage to cheat. If it were only about his behavior at the wedding, I wouldn't have grounds for alimony. But thank goodness Arthur suspected Angie and had her investigated. Now I can demand compensation for the affair. The fact that Ted intended to marry me while seeing Angie is unforgivable. Any remaining affection I'd had for Ted vanished completely upon learning of his long-term betrayal. The four of us gathered to discuss the divorce and the affair.
Have you reconsidered the divorce? I'll be more careful, and we're already married, so let's build our life together.
Sorry for getting too close to Ted. I'll be more mindful about keeping some distance.
Since I'd only told them I wanted to discuss the future, they simply apologized for their behavior at the wedding. It doesn't feel like they're genuinely sorry. Angie just wants to keep her stable life, and Ted probably just cares about appearances. Knowing that they had been lying so calmly while cheating, all I felt watching their apologetic, remorseful act was disgust. They don't know they've been caught, so they think an apology will fix everything. I've been lenient with Ted and Angie in the past, and Arthur was soft on Angie too. No wonder they look down on us. Looking at the two of them now, what I once saw as a positive closeness only brought negative thoughts to mind.
So, if we're really careful from now on, can I just go home?
When Angie asked her husband that, Arthur, with a stern expression, finally spoke up.
No, we're getting a divorce.
What? Why? I'll keep my distance from Ted. I promise. Why divorce over something like this?
Something like this is. You've been cheating this whole time. Don't act like it's nothing.
With that, he showed them the evidence of their affair.
What? How?
When was this taken?
They stared in shock, completely caught off guard by the investigation. Seeing them this stunned, they really were cheating. Watching them panic, They quickly started trying to defend themselves.
This has to be fake. They just took photos at misleading angles.
He's my brother-in-law, so we were just meeting up a little. Don't misunderstand.
Just meeting up a little? You two live miles apart, so there's no way it was by chance. Plus, you went to a hotel together. Ted, if you had nothing to hide, you could have just told me you were meeting Angie, but I never once heard about it. Every time we met as a trio, you'd say it was catching up after a while. That was a lie too, wasn't it? And you lied about work to meet her? I can't trust you anymore, Ted. Angie, no matter how close you are as in-laws, it's not normal to meet up alone like that. Arthur is my brother-in-law too, but we only ever met in formal settings. I don't want to hear any more excuses. The report left no room for their denials. Of course, neither of them had anything believable to say.
I noticed you started going out more, and your spending increased. Whenever I asked about your time away while I was working, you brushed it off. I worried you might be in trouble, maybe paying off someone to keep safe, but to find out it was for an affair. Do you have any idea how that feels?
Then, as we confronted them, they tried to claim it was just for fun, not cheating.
At first, I thought of her as a sister, but over time it became something else. But it wasn't serious. I just wanted to have some fun before the wedding.
I was just thrilled to have a big brother, but it was all just for fun. I only love Arthur.
Anyone who can cheat just for fun is not someone I can be with. I want a divorce.
Holly, you're the only one I really love. I'll never do anything like this again, so please reconsider.
I can't forgive cheating. Someone who's casual about cheating can't just be trusted again. There's no way I could live with someone who cheated. So I'm divorcing you.
If you leave me, how am I supposed to go on? I'm truly sorry. Please don't go through with a divorce.
Both of them pleaded, and Angie even began to cry. I never thought Ted would be capable of this. And Angie, treating an affair like a game. I knew she could be silly, but I had no idea she could go this far. I clearly have poor judgment. I felt disappointed in myself for failing to see their true colors. Then Angie turned to me for help.
If he divorces me, I'll be ruined. Please, Holly, help me. You know how much I love Arthur. You were so happy for me when I got married.
You told me to serve food in my wedding dress and took my seat at my own wedding. And now I find out you were having an affair. This is the natural outcome. If you truly loved him, you wouldn't cheat. You must have known getting caught would lead to divorce. If you didn't, I would have opposed the marriage on his behalf. Her excuses left me speechless. She used to be so sweet and affectionate, but now she's so selfish. I can hardly believe she's my sister. I firmly refused and reiterated my decision to divorce.
No, please reconsider. It was Angie who tempted me. I just got carried away.
Oh, so now it's my fault? You're the one who said you wanted to relax before the wedding. I was just keeping you company because you're my brother-in-law, nothing more. Arthur's the only one I love. I don't want a divorce.
Naturally, they protested, blaming each other in a last attempt to sway us. But with solid proof of their affair and our parents on my side, the divorce went through. Both of them ended up in debt to cover alimony payments. Ted also had to cover all the wedding expenses, which seemed to be quite a burden. Their families were outraged, and friends who'd watched the wedding cut ties with them. They were now on their own, struggling to get by.
This isn't fair. I was supposed to be a housewife, living comfortably.
I was supposed to move up in my career, but now everyone's talking, and I can't quit because of the debt.
Both of them, now alone, are working hard to pay off their debts. As for me, friends and family were concerned, so they invited me to join a singles event for a change of pace. I went and met someone I truly connected with. After everything with Ted, I'd given up on marriage, but I've met someone good. I'll take my time getting to know him and make sure I don't repeat my mistakes. Now, I'm looking forward to the future, no longer burdened by memories of the wedding.